Hi, everybody. This is your James Bond read-along book. Every time you hear this sound, it means that it's time to turn the page in your storybook. Now, we're just about ready to begin. The Spy Who Loved Me. Remember to turn the page every time you hear the sound. High in the Austrian Alps, in a warm ski lodge, James Bond, Agent 007, sat in front of a fire.
Well, another mission completed,
thought Bond. He moved over on the lodge couch to let two men who had just come in from skiing have a seat.
Excuse me, your watch is starting to make clicking noises.
Oh, so it is. Will you excuse me?
Bond moved away from the couch just as a tiny piece of ticker tape began to come out of his watch. The message on the tape read, "Urgent. Report to Secret Service headquarters in London at once. Emergency."
Well, no time for a little relaxation between jobs. I'd better hurry. All I have to do is make good time down these slopes and get to the village. From there I can get a bus to Salzburg and then a plane to London.
Just then, a bullet whizzed past Bond's ear.
What?
Looking back, Bond saw two skiers right behind him, aiming rifles at his back.
Seems my friends don't want me to leave quite so soon. I'd better take a little evasive action.
Agent 007 started to zigzag his way down the slopes, making him a more difficult target to hit. He tucked his ski poles tightly under his arms and looked back at the men in the mirror mounted on the side of his goggles.
These are such handy little devices. A few of these knockout bullets should do the trick.
In an instant, a bullet burst from the tip of his left ski pole and shot its way backward. One of the skiers toppled in the snow, his skis flying off his feet. But the other skier was able to dodge the pellet and was closing fast. Bond knew that he had only one chance as he raced toward the edge of a cliff overlooking a mile-high drop.
Here goes nothing.
Bond's pursuer screeched to a halt and watched in amazement as Bond shot outward over the edge of the cliff. As Bond raced toward the earth, a parachute popped out of his backpack and puffed out, filled with air. It was brilliantly decorated in the colors of the British flag, the beloved Union Jack. Bond drifted safely to earth, free of his pursuers. A few days later, back in England, James Bond was meeting with his security contact, M.
Well, Bond, and how is the skiing in Austria at this time of year?
Very good, sir. I practically flew.
The fact of the matter is, Bond, that a British submarine carrying nuclear bombs has disappeared off the coast of Italy. Just like that. Vanished without a trace. We have another sub scheduled to follow the same route tomorrow. You will be on that sub.
Of course, sir. I haven't been under the weather in a long time.
The next day found James Bond far underneath the sea, off the coast of the island of Sardinia, cruising in a British submarine.
Yes, Mr. Bond. It was incredible. Apparently everything was fine one minute, and then the next, the sub went right off the radar screen and disappeared into thin water, so to speak.
Just then, the submarine's emergency alarm sounded.
Mr. Bond, I can't keep her on course. Something's pulling at her. It's out of control.
Try to keep her steady, Captain. I'll lift the periscope and see what's going on.
Bond was knocked off balance, and the sub's lights began to blink on and off. Bond lifted the periscope and looked through the sights at the view above the waves. Bond couldn't believe his eyes. The submarine was on a collision course with a huge carrier ship.
Prepare your crew for impact, Captain. No, wait! We're not going to collide! This is incredible!
Just as the tip of the submarine reached the front of the huge ship, the ship's hull split in half and opened outward. The submarine glided harmlessly inside the cavernous space beyond, deep into the heart of the mysterious ship.
Make sure all your men are armed and prepared for battle, Captain. I don't like surprise invitations to some stranger's party. Uh-oh! Look out!
But it was too late. Before anyone could react, the submarine's chamber was infiltrated with a potent knockout gas. The ship's crew sank to their knees and were soon completely unconscious.
I've got to get a mask.
James saw the lights flashing, and soon they went dim, and Bond was knocked cold.
Well, Mr. Bond, I trust you had a pleasant sleep. The name is Stromberg. Carl Stromberg at your service. You are in my modest little ship called the Leparus. You have already experienced a few of its unique qualities. You will find it has more to offer.
I'm sure. But tell me, Stromberg, what can you hope to gain by hijacking submarines?
Oh, these submarines, Mr. Bond, will provide me with the firepower I need to destroy two of the world's most important cities, New York and Moscow. If I were not so pressed for time, I would stay to watch your death struggles. I think they would prove most entertaining. And now, Mr. Bond, goodbye.
With the flick of a switch, Stromberg opened the floor beneath Bond's very feet, and Agent 007 fell headlong into a pool. But no ordinary pool. This one was infested by deadly, man-eating sharks. Thinking quickly, Bond pulled from his pocket a small capsule. He dropped it in the water and swam as far from it as he could. Just then, the capsule burst and created a small red cloud in the depths of the water.
That should keep the sharks busy for a little while. How to get out of this aquarium? But how?
As if in answer to his question, a small opening in the wall of the pool caught Bond's eye. Bond quickly swam through and came to the surface, gasping for breath.
I wonder where I am. Wait. This is the chamber where the submarine was captured. I'll need reinforcements. And here they are. But how can I free them? I'll have to take a chance and create a diversion. Help! Help! I'm drowning! I can't swim!
Look! There in the water! That man is drowning! We'll have to do something about him!
As the guard dived in the water, the other guards turned to see what he was doing. This was the only chance the members of the British submarine needed.
All right, lads! Forward!
I wonder what Stromberg's doing. Why hasn't he sent any reinforcements? I'd better pay him a visit.
Quickly, James Bond headed for Stromberg's stateroom. Rushing to the back of the room, Bond opened a door behind Stromberg's large throne. There, lying in a pool of water, was a miniature submarine. Within minutes, Bond was racing through the water, keeping his eyes trained on the underwater screen. Soon, a gigantic structure entirely under the ocean's surface loomed into view.
This must be it. The Atlantis.
You are to be commended for your persistence, Mr. Bond, but you are too late. I had just given orders to my hijacked submarines to launch their missiles.
Not if I can help it, Stromberg. Get away from those controls. Ha! I have a hunch I can reprogram these submarines to fire at a completely different target. Each other. worked. Well, Stromberg, it seemed... Where is he? I've got no time to look. I've got to get back to the fight aboard the La Paris.
But before getting back in his minisub, Bond saw a switch on the control board that read Scuttle.
So, Stromberg had the Atlantis equipped with scuttling charges, a feature that allows a machine to self-destruct. I don't think the free world has any use for the Atlantis, so...
Bond pressed the button and boarded the miniature submarine. Soon, Bond was back aboard the La Paris. By the time he reached the scene of the fighting, the members of the British Navy had matters pretty well under control. Suddenly, an image flashed onto a screen set in the wall of the chamber.
This is Carl Stromberg. You have foiled me, Bond. But at least I will have the pleasure of seeing you and every other person aboard the La Paris destroyed. The Atlantis is equipped with a few bombs of its own.
Suddenly, Bond and his fellow crew members saw an awesome sight. Just as the Atlantis began to rise majestically out of the water, an explosion blew a hole in one of its sides. Then another explosion rocked the Atlantis. And another. And another. Soon, the huge structure began to sink back into the sea. One big mass of explosions, flames, and showering sparks. A few days later, back in England...
Well, Bond, you did a fine job. In fact, you saved the world. I think you can get back to your skiing in Austria. You've earned it.
Well, thank you, sir. I think I'll do just that. Oh, and sir...
Yes, Bond?
May I take another parachute with me?